All right, what's going on? You listen to King Cam Ujumbe Podcast, Ujumbe meets message, and we got something loaded today. We're going to talk about breaking the chains and roadmap to true equality for Black America. We got some special guests coming on. We got Brother Mo. He's an alumni, and we also got Baba Amin. He's our illustrious special guest. I'm really thankful that he came, Mr. Gales. Shout out to Mr. Gales for introducing me to him. But yeah, Brother Mo a few weeks ago asked the question, are we still being treated as second-class citizens? That's a good question. Okay, so the perception of African Americans as second-class citizens is deeply rooted in centuries of systemic racism that has shaped social, economic, and political landscape in the United States. So the legacy dealing with slavery, dealing with Jim Crow, dealing with redlining, the Reconstruction period. Yeah, we're part of it. No, we're not. It's a lot. So we're going to talk about that. This historical oppression has led to the enduring disparities in wealth, education, housing, you name it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a few things like the historical systemic racism, economic disparities, criminal justice system, the education inequality. Because even though we are in school, there's some people that don't want us to be in school, and we got to figure out a way to educate ourselves. So, but media and also media representation. So reality is, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. If you are not in the mix, don't forget to subscribe. But one thing about it, I know we just got done with Black History Month, but as for me, Black History is like 365 days, every day, all day. So it is what it is. But slavery is the foundation of racial oppression. Now, a lot of people will try to use slavery, global slavery, like as if to say, "Hey, but what's going on, Blue? What's going on, Elliot?" But they would say, "Well, they had slavery in China, they had slavery in Africa, but not like this. Not like this." Okay, slavery in the Western world is totally different. Okay, enslaved Africans were denied basic human rights, subjugated to brutal conditions, treated as property. The reason why some of our ancestors was not seen as, on the census like in the 1840s was because before 1865 they was written as property. That's what that is. And so when you have that, now you got to do the homework. Now you got to go through either other kind of paperwork outside of that. My family did our family history. We found our ancestors in a will. When old massa died, he willed off his slaves to somebody else. That, how we would will off, say we'll put our house in a trust, we'll put our property in a will or whatever. That's what happened. And so even after slavery ended during the Reconstruction period, 1865 to 1877, we saw a brief period of Black progress. It was very brief, very brief. W.E.B. Du Bois, he writes about that. But then once the Black people finally got their footing, and I'm gonna tell you this, when Black people got their freedom in Dallas, in the DFW area, there's a couple of cities called Freemantown, Queen City, and Frogtown. Okay, so the thing is, Queen City is underwater. Freemantown is under a freeway. I'm gonna be honest. Some of my students asked me, "Where is Freemantown?" They said, "And where is this Freeman Cemetery?" I said, "It is on I-75 by City Place." Okay, and what they did, they removed the stones, but not the bodies. So yeah, Freemantown, they did that to us. Okay, and not to mention Black Wall Street, where they bombed. Yeah, and yeah, Brother Mo, he mentioned 3/5 a person. Yeah, that rule is still in effect. They have not struck that out. Okay, they're saying that we treated 3/5 a person, but they're not going to ask for 3/5 of our money come tax time. See what I'm saying? So But yeah, after slavery, there was a brief period of black progress followed by backlash, implementation of Jim Crow. These laws were legally enforced. They were legally enforced. They wrote this in paperwork, and they said, "Look, you need to follow these rules, or you will be in trouble." Right? So we had Jim Crow, and so historically we had issues. Okay, so it was written on paper to treat us as second class citizens. That's the reason why we feel the way we feel. Okay. I see. Yaya Shabaka. He is out there in Morocco, and he happy belated birthday to Yaya Shabaka. I see you. Happy belated birthday to him. Yeah, he is. He's still about 25. So happy birthday. And I see you, Sister Linda. Greetings, Sister Linda. What's going on, Sister Linda? All right. But yeah, and Brother Mo, he's one of our alumni. Shout out to the alumni. Really grateful. I'm using a new platform. I got a new toy. Oh, and okay, I see Uhuru Academy. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. And but I really am thankful for you guys for being here. But yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So, and not to mention, not only we had to deal with Jim Crow, we had to deal with mass incarceration. Yeah, we had a discussion about Angela Davis, how she had a concern about the prison system, how it was privatized, and that now the mass incarceration has become a problem where only black people are being put in those situations. So, in Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, she highlights how criminal justice system serves as the modern extension of racial discrimination. But but I got a few people on that they're going to talk to us about it a little bit. They're going to tell us how they feel as far as how we're seen as second class citizens. I got Baba Amin on. Okay, I finally got him. So he is on. He is the chair and founder of the Uhuru Academy. You heard me and Mr. Gales talk about him a little bit on the previous episode, but I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to bring him up so he can share why he feels that we are treated as second class citizens and possibly what we could do about that. All right, here we go. Baba, can you hear us?
Brother, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
All right, and peace to everybody that's listening in and watching as well, man. It's an honor to be here, brother. I've been hearing a lot of great things.
Yeah, I'm just glad that you decide to come and take time out to talk to us and just share your thoughts on it. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Oh, it's no problem at all. No problem at all. And you bring up a very powerful question, a very powerful topic. Are we still seen as or treated as second class citizens, right? And while I may not give a blanket yes, yeah, there are some freedoms that we have today that our ancestors did not have. There are even more freedoms that we have that we don't exercise. Because when second class citizenship is internalized, as Carter G. Woodson talks about in his seminal work, The Miseducation of the Negro, once you internalize your second class citizenship, they don't have to tell you to go in the back door. You'll go into the back door yourself. And if there is no back door, you'll carve one open so you can go in, right? And so we in many ways we treat ourselves as second class citizens in this country as well, But yes, there are several things that still exist. Redlining still exists. Property values are still determined based on the racial demographic in the area. Banks still discriminate when it comes to loan. Race is still a factor when trying to get a business loan. Yes, when you go into the public school system, you do not find us in the curriculum, right? And these are things that we say we want, yet we still don't have, right? And we even walk around acting like there's nothing we can do about it. If that's not second class citizenship, I don't know what it is. What is?
And you also mentioned that we will make our own back door to come through.
Right. Right. We'll
And
make
then
our own back door.
yeah, and then you went on to say that we would treat each other
Mm-hmm.
as second class citizens.
Right. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't tell you how many times when we were starting the Uhuru Academy, how many times people came up to me and say they ain't gonna let you do that. Who is they?
Wow. Wow.
You right? And them folks ain't gonna let you do that. So there's still an acknowledgement among us that someone else has power over us.
Yeah. And we have to just take the power ourselves and
That's
do the
right.
work.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Because I ain't ran into they yet. And I'm 15 years in. And I ain't ran into they yet. They ain't came and got me yet.
I think they is them.
Right. Right. You know, people used to come to my temple and be like, man, I'm just tired of white folks. And I used to say, I tell them all the time, well, the first white man you got to go after is the one that's inside of you.
Wow. Wow. The one that's in your mind.
What's in your mind? That's in your mind. That's stopping you. That's you stopping you. You know, we need to be about the work of working so hard and doing so much that the real they would have to actually stand up and say, no, we not letting y'all do this. But we don't even get that far.
Yeah, and I think Brother Mo said learn behavior over time, how we treat each other.
I say
And,
absolutely.
and so the thing is, we are our worst. We can be our worst enemy.
Right. You know, and I don't like to call us our worst enemy, but at least not our worst external enemy. But as human beings, your biggest opponent is always going to be yourself. Right. It's always going to be you. Like in my math class, oftentimes I tell my students, create your own problems, write your own problems. Now, Bob, why don't you give us some problems? Because when life hits you, you're going to create your own problems then too.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
create your own problems so you can get used to creating your problems and solving your own problems
There it
and
is.
taking ownership of your own problems. You know what I'm saying?
We have to create our problems so we can figure out a way to solve our own problems.
That's right. That's right. And get in the habit of doing that. Right. And getting in the habit of taking ownership. You know, we teach freedom is not just being able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Freedom is not white people or other people finally loving you. That's not what freedom is. Freedom is responsibility. Freedom is being willing to take responsibility for your food, your clothing, your shelter, owning your decisions, owning your destiny. That's what freedom is.
Yeah, the freedom to not the freedom. I heard somebody say freedom is being free of the need to be free.
That's right.
But when we're talking about freedom, we're free to make our own stuff and do our own thing to do right or have problems and still solve those problems.
Yes.
Freedom. Okay, we say, what about this grocery store? Well, here's the thing about that grocery store. Why are we begging them? Why are we begging them? We should already have that in place.
We've had that in place.
Oh,
and when you know this because you study our story. We've had those things in place. We traded those things in for inclusion.
Well, now we on to something. Now Bob Amin is about to cook. And so there's a difference between equality and equity.
Yes, it is.
Unfortunately, our ancestors kind of confuse equality with equity. And in the illusion of inclusion. I think Dr. Ben many years ago said when the desegregation happened in the schools, he went to the bus stop. He was seeing the black kids go to the bus and go to the white schools, but he was waiting on the white kids to get out the bus to go to the black school.
Right. And let me ride for our working class ancestors for a minute, because people like my mama and my aunt and them and all that, they didn't want integration. They didn't want the white folks hand-me-downs. Their issue was that their new books were the old books that the white schools threw away. Their football uniforms were the football uniforms that the white school threw away. They wanted new uniforms and new books. That's what they wanted. The black bourgeoisie wanted inclusion. Because the black bourgeoisie there were members of the black bourgeoisie that wanted to be among the other folks. They wanted to go to the Hilton. Mama and them was cool going to Miss Lulu's bed and breakfast. They wasn't tripping.
Miss Lulu's bed and breakfast.
We're gonna build up Miss Lulu. Miss Lulu,
Yeah.
the food gonna be good, them sheets gonna be clean, the
And
whole
chickens gonna
9
be-
yards.
Yeah.
Working class black people weren't trying to run and live in suburbia.
Gotcha.
That wasn't what working class African Americans wanted. But you had a bourgeoisie class that were getting, now they were starting to get jobs in the white hospital. Well, I want to move closer to the white hospital. I want to be able to go play tennis at the country club. I want to be able to go do some of these things. And they took over the narrative of the civil rights movement and said, okay, y'all, what we want is integration.
Because they thought integration means that we have arrived.
Yeah, we have arrived. White acceptance became the thing. So what was the big problem now? You have white water fountains and you have black water fountains. Everyone should go to the same water fountain. And that's cool in a public place where we all pay taxes, right?
Yeah.
But what it turned into was you have white-owned businesses and black-owned businesses. And true integration was us being able to support white-owned businesses. Well, what happened to the black-owned businesses in return?
It fell off.
We didn't get a flood of white dollars coming into the black community.
Exactly.
But you got a flood of black dollars going into the white community, which in turn, the only thing that truly got integrated was the black dollar.
It was the money.
That's it.
And once they figured that out economically, once they figured out, okay, we can make our stuff decent or whatever to where, well, decent enough to where the black people can come and spend their money. Matter of fact, we'll be richer in the process.
It's a bonus.
And not only that,
yeah.
In this integration process, we're gonna bring their children to our schools. Not all of them. Hold on.
Just a few.
That's the one that can run fast. The ones that can run fast. Them the ones we want. You know, and so that issue with integration. So you telling me it wasn't a physical integration, it was more of a economic integration.
It was more of an economic integration. Even on the physical aspect of it, when you look at most companies, they integrated at the bottom, not at the top. You know, one of the most famous integration stories we have, Jackie Robinson integrating baseball, right? Well, they took Jackie, but what about all those teams in the Negro Leagues? What about the ownership? Right? The Negro League Baseball was a multi-million-dollar annual black-owned business that was destroyed, that was economically attacked by Major League Baseball.
Facts.
And we don't talk about that economic attack. We just celebrate that Jackie Robinson and the bravery he had and that sort of thing. And so now this Black history story actually becomes a story of white benevolence, not a story of Black excellence.
Yeah. So wait a minute. You said something. So Black history, it has become or relegated to or reduced itself to white. What was it say? White
benevolence.
Benevolence and not what?
Not Black excellence.
Wow.
Right? Not Black excellence. Jackie Robinson wouldn't be able to go to the Dodgers if it wasn't for Branch Ritchie, the brave, rich white man that was willing to challenge the system and let Jackie play.
Yeah,
you know,
let him play.
And then, of course, we got to highlight how the white players were violent towards Jackie, and Jackie took the violence and opened. This is what a lot of us like to say. He opened the door.
Yeah, and we already had one.
There's only one door to open.
We already had one. I had my great uncle. His name was Swifty. Okay, his name was Swifty, and he played for the Negro Leagues back in the day. And I never, I met him, but I was too young to remember. But he played for the Negro Leagues, so we had our own thing.
Going, and it was successful. And it was successful. But one thing that they figured out, as far as when you talk about the psychological impact of being in a dominant society that deems you as a second-class citizen, naturally you're going to start to aspiring to be a first-class citizen is synonymous with aspiring to be among and be just like those who are deemed first-class citizens. So their ice cream is colder, right? Their water is wetter than your water. Anything they got is automatically better than you have. And then you have this new invention in the 1940s called television. Right. And so now they have their product on television. So now you get to see a Negro on TV.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
right? And
Yeah.
so so what you're building is being devalued, right?
Mm.
Right, by the dominant society, and then we start developing this dual consciousness where it's like on the one end we build doing our own thing, but on the
Right.
other end, true success is being a part of that.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
rather have a
That
little bit of what they got than all of what I have.
I'd rather go broke being out there in the suburbs than doing well where I am.
I'd
That
rather be their property than to own my property.
wow. Yeah. Because now you introduced a new problem called redlining.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how dare you tell us that we can't live over there,
Right.
bro? Why would you? And, and our beloved Malcolm X told us, why force us? I'm not quoting him directly, but he said so
Mhm.
many times, why force yourself into a room that you're not welcome in?
Right. When you can build your own room.
Yeah, do for self.
Do so. Now there are some areas, right?
Yeah,
If the big government contract is coming and they hiring construction companies and that sort of thing, and I pay taxes in this city, yes, I need a
yeah,
contract. I need a
yeah,
piece of that, right? But
yeah.
you build a suburb out there, and people are moving out there, and they don't want me out there. We have to think about, does it make sense to pay to be discriminated against?
Wow. Pay. Here, take my money so you can treat me bad.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And we have to think about, we often pay for it. Shaquille O'Neal was online. He was telling a story when he was young, a young player in the NBA. He went into a car lot about to buy this big fancy Rolls Royce or something, right?
yeah,
And the dude was on him like, that's gonna be like $80,000, treating him like he couldn't afford it, right? So
yeah,
in response, Shaq bought 3 of them,
yeah.
right?
To prove
So
you wrong.
yeah. So my question is, so he gets a great commission for being racist.
Yeah, yeah. And
So you
I
get
think
treated this way. You have to show your value by spending more money instead of walking out of the
you
establishment
pay
saying,
triple.
not only you not gonna get my money, I'm gonna use my platform to tell nobody else to come here.
Yeah. And
You
then not
have
only
to show him that you can buy something. And he's sitting back like, got me another one.
yeah. And on top of that, I think you know what? I'm thinking about that may have been the game. He knew that if I push this black person's buttons, saying, hey, you can't
Mhm.
afford this, they gonna pay
Yeah.
triple that.
Yeah. It's an old video you can find on YouTube called How to Sell the Negro, right?
Wow.
And it doesn't talk about that particular strategy, but it does say appeal to the Negro's vanity,
Vanity.
appeal to their sense of wanting to belong, wanting to be included. A black man wants to walk into that store and wants everybody to know, yes, I'm a black man and I can buy a hat in here,
Yeah, in this store.
in this store, just
So
like everybody else,
yeah.
right?
And Baba Yaki, he just asked a question. Shout out to him. He says, so is the future for us is staying here or returning to Africa to help build a smoldering giant? What do you
Well,
think?
I think it's a blend of both. I think that we, as black people in America, should think of ourselves as global citizens,
Hmm.
right? And that's one of our tenets in our school at the Uhuru Academy, raising our children to be global citizens. We have to be aware of what's going on in the world. We have to keep our eyes and ears open for opportunities for our particular skill sets, places
Hmm.
that will be friendly to black people from America, the whole 9 yards. But we also have to be mindful that we don't take the worst of America with us as far as the attitudes
Wow.
and that sort of thing, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes you think that you getting away from something, but you taking that something that you getting away from with you because you've internalized those attitudes and those values. So there has to be a core value check. As far as staying here, we have to be able to create safe spaces where we can be ourselves. And
Right.
and I think there has to be a new great migration in this country where we strategically go places where we are we're in the majority of the population and attempt to take those places over politically and
Mm.
economically, right? But that takes, again, it takes a re-education, which is why I chose to focus on education.
Okay.
You have to raise a generation of young people with that type of plan, right? I don't think the way that we operate in the United States right now as a community is sustainable. I mean, we tough. Black folk
Yeah.
gonna be here. you know.
Yeah.
But if we want to, like, we've learned to maneuver racism and endure racism.
Right.
No one endures poverty like we do.
Mm-mm.
No one does it like we do. But if we want to rise above these conditions, it's going to require some reconditioning.
So check this out. I think I know Baba Yahya. He's in Morocco. He says the issue is a lot of us a lot of us would go to the diaspora, go back to Africa, and bring those bad habits. As a matter of fact, we would not learn from the community there. We would isolate ourselves and kind of Americanize that
Mhm.
corner in Ghana or Morocco.
Right, right. You know, and it's only natural. I mean, we're for example, I tell people, I say I'm a new African, right?
Yeah,
I didn't get into, when I got into knowledge of self, I didn't try to transform into an African from 500 years ago. You
right.
you know, I still like UGK in certain things. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
you
Like,
know,
I'm still from the dirty South. Like,
I'm saying,
it's not that we are devoid of culture as
yeah.
Africans born in America, right? But what we have to do is check our core value system and become African centered in our core value system, in our
Right.
morality, and learn how to build productive relationships throughout the diaspora.
So that's basically what we would call Ubuntu, right? That is that connectiveness. And I think Meta Nature, shout out to Meta Nature. He said the most successful and off-use tool of marketing is to tell the demographic you want to buy your product that they can't have it because they can't afford it. Like
Right,
dangling a carrot in front of them, something like that.
right, right.
Yeah,
So then when you buy something, it becomes a status symbol. When
yeah,
you're in poverty, your car ain't just your modes of transportation. Your car is
yeah,
your identity.
yeah.
Man, you gonna
Wow.
put some rims on that thing?
You gotta do it. And
Gotta
down
do
in
it.
Houston, they still got them bowls. They got
Still got it, right? Because it becomes just as much your identity and your status symbol
Mm,
as is your mode of transportation. And we overdo it because we don't embrace the identity that we already have.
right. Because we don't know who we are.
Well, and who we believe we are, no one wants to be.
Wow. Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so you trying to rise above being just the N word or
Yeah.
being just a B. You
Yeah.
know, that ain't enough. You know, it might be enough in a rap song, but ain't enough in the real world.
Not enough.
You know,
Yeah.
and so now I gotta be, some of us lean into it. I'm gonna be a real lean. I'm a hard end. I'm
I'm
a
being
cold
real.
end. I'm the coldest end. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
end it up. I'm gonna get my grill, I'm gonna get my rain, I'm gonna end it up. I'm gonna be a super end.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Put it on
saying?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we wearing it, you know, and trying to express it, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah. And we wear it with pride. And what happens is it goes into we're now adding to the problem, and then we're decrying the criminal justice system
Yeah,
and overpricing. So
right.
in the
Because the
criminal
super
justice
end
system in
is
the United
just like
States.
the super, in a lot of ways, just like the white capitalist. You know,
Yeah.
the super end is just about money by any means. You know, I
Yeah.
got to get money. And if it means I destroy my own community in the process, it is what it is.
It
You
is what it
know,
is.
I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah. And so and we have that issue with, what do you think about the criminal justice system
Mhm.
and the 13th Amendment? How do you think that ties? How do you think that ties in? Because that's another problem, because
Right,
dealing with being treated as second class citizens, the clause in the 13th Amendment that says you're free unless you commit a crime.
right,
And so now from the slavery era, it goes from that to from the patty rollers to over
right,
policing.
right, right,
And matter of fact, I have, sometimes I'm a high school educator. I have an issue sometimes that we
mhm,
tend to over police our own children.
right,
Let them be children. But once we get a rule, we automatically criminalize our children. Like the dress code. I do not. I kid you not. I don't like dress code
right,
because they don't have dress code like that.
right, right,
And
right,
then in making our kids feel wrong for being built the way they are, and being and our young men are taller and the broad shoulders, our young ladies are built a certain way. So, and then we criminalize, we made them trip,
right,
why are you wearing that for?
right.
Mama bought it, you know.
Mhm.
And
But
so
you know, a lot of that is based on the definitions that we
yeah.
already have for ourselves as a people.
Mm,
So our working assumptions when little Bobo come in the school, your
yeah.
working assumption is he doesn't want to learn. Your
Automatic.
working assumption for little Keisha when she walk in is already she probably got an attitude.
Automatically.
So that's automatic. Well, all these tropes go back to Thomas Jefferson in his notes on the state of Virginia when he said that we were childlike, that we've never contributed anything to society, that, you know, outside of music and dancing, we don't know how to do anything. So all of these are built into the racism and the racist definitions of Black people in America. We
Wow.
perpetuate them,
Yeah.
you know. And so when it comes to the criminal justice system or the 13th Amendment was passed in 1865. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863. So by the time the Civil War is over, you get the 13th Amendment. It was just a reorganization of slavery. Right?
Yeah.
It's just okay. It's outlawed except in the commission, except for the punishment of a crime. Well, what's a crime? That's
anything. Any
That's
crime
up
with
to the states.
Jaywalking.
Standing in front of the store.
Yeah. Looking a certain way.
Walking along the railroad tracks and you ain't on your way to a job. That could be a crime, right?
Wow.
And then how are those crimes going to be adjudicated, right? How are these laws going to be implemented? And that's why even in 2025, I tell people, be careful what you agree with, because you might agree. For example, out here they talking about when juveniles get in trouble, you should be able to go arrest their parents too.
Yeah,
right?
They're trying to get
They're
everybody.
actually floating that in South Carolina, right?
Wow.
If your son go steal a car, they can come arrest you, right? And people like, it's these parents. Be careful, because there's a lot of great parents with badass kids. Like be careful. Number one, your child might get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
And do you trust them to implement the law fairly? So you may agree with the premise of a law, but that doesn't mean that law is going to be implemented in a way that's fair to you.
And then of course, dealing with that issue, we have dealing with the rules. You know how it's going to be slighted. You know how it's going to be heavy-handed on this side of town versus light-handed on the other.
History
and so
teaches you.
Yeah, right? and then, but the issue sometimes we, like you mentioned it earlier, we are harder on each other. We're not worried about they, you know.
But you know, it's difficult, and that's why that's why education is so important, and that's why building institutions inside our community where we can be ourselves and learn from each other is so important, because it's difficult to see one thing being seen as beauty, one thing being seen as intelligent, and then seeing yourself as being inferior. It's hard to just overcome that by yourself.
Yeah, it takes us all.
It's hard, man. It's hard to overcome that, you know. And so when we get mad at each other, I can't stand that end. We sound like we in the Klan when we get mad at each other.
Yeah,
because a lot of times the premise and the basis of our anger is our shame. How many Black people you heard say N-words ain't you?
Yeah, I like Black people, but not them.
Right. But wait a minute, but you Black.
You know, right? I'm different though.
Like how crazy it for us to say, you know, Black folks don't want nothing. So if I try to say, so you don't want nothing. Oh, I ain't talking about me, but you Black folks.
Yep.
And we think we're talking about all them other Black people. All of us think we the one special Negro that ain't got that's different from the rest of the Black people.
Facts. And Baba, he said, we cannot be successful in America as things are now. Africa presents opportunities if you can adapt. The South presents the place for Black folk to flourish.
I say. Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement that there are opportunities on the continent. I mean, we have students in Africa in our school. We have friends and family over there right now building and doing great business on the continent. So there are opportunities there, right? But we funding a lot of those opportunities with our paychecks from over here.
Yeah.
Okay. We're currently, you know, for example, I have teachers in Zambia. You know, I have a teacher in Zambia, and I pay him every 2 weeks. He's our math specialist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But with what we're giving him, not only is he able to, build his home, we're looking at trying to set up some type of school or something there, right?
Wow.
And so if I was to go to the continent and continue my online program, imagine what I can do with US dollars living on the continent, right? And so currently right now, the best route I see is when you have a synergy or relationships where we're pouring US dollars while it has value
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
African economy.
Yeah, because right now we're decrying the education system, but I've said it many times. What are we prepared to do?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? What are we prepared to do? Because we're talking about education, educational inequality, and limited opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And but what are we prepared to do? At one point in time, in the Black community, you would go either to the Black church or to a Uhuru Academy or somewhere or the recreation center to learn how to read, to learn how to write.
Mm-hmm.
And because Baba is saying, he said the TOBAB, which is the European power structure, is designed to suppress Black achievement, except in sports, music, and etc., for fear of Black dominance. He said you can do well in sports, you can do well in music until you start calling us out about our royalty issues and things like that. You can, as long as you're making this
Well,
Super
I'll take
Bowl.
it one step further.
Yeah.
It's even designed to suppress Black achievement in sports and music.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, how many Black owners you know?
Yeah, you got me. You got me.
How
And
many
then,
Black owners? Michael Jordan was able to do it,
yeah,
right? Magic Johnson's able to do it. But for the most part, our professional Black athletes aren't even being educated and geared towards any type of ownership. The average Black professional athlete goes broke within 6 years of leaving their said profession.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is a suppression there as well. And let's not even get started with music. That industry is designed to screw the artists.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when musicians ask, I remember back in the 90s, Jay Prince and Suge and Tony Draper and some others, they were trying to go into distribution.
Yeah.
And the distribution industry, the folks who run the distribution say, no, y'all can't come into this part of the business.
For those who don't know, there's the studio side and then there's the distribution side. So the studio side is where you make the music, you run the track.
Entertain. Oh, they'll let us entertain. But ownership, how many artists really own their masters and really own their music? Right? Only a select few, right? How many of our entertainers even get to die clean?
Unscathed.
Mr. Pudding Pop. Bill Cosby had to go to the penitentiary at 80
for a little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there is still suppression in those areas as well. I just put forth that we gave up our greatest weapon and our greatest tool, and that's our own communities.
Wow.
When we lost our communities, we lost our base.
Yeah. Because that's where you can, even if you don't have a major distribution deal or a major sports deal, if your hometown is for you, they're for you.
Eat. Yeah. You gonna eat
every time.
You gonna eat every time.
My homeboy said, I can go ghetto gold and I'll be fine.
Yeah, all right. Man, if I put out a single, if I put out a song a month, you know what I'm saying, and I got 10,000 people in the Black community that's gonna buy it. That's a $10,000 a month business.
Yeah.
And let me put a $10 t-shirt with it.
Yeah, man. A lot of our artists back in the day used to sell the CDs and tapes out the back of their trunk. They controlled their product.
See, you can't walk down your street and sell your goods in front of the store or work with the people in the store. They don't culturally understand you because you don't own the store. If you can't go down there to the donut shop and the restaurant and say, hey, we started a basketball team. Can y'all sponsor the shoes for the basketball team? If the Black dentist don't live in the community no more, the Black doctor, if the Black doctor and the Black lawyer still lived in the community, when you want to start your janitorial service, you can go to the lawyer and say, hey man, be my partner. You know I clean like no other. Invest in my business. We can make some money together. So when you don't have a physical location, where you can gather resources to do the things that you need to do, you get what we have today.
Yeah. And that's why Brother Mo, shout out to him. He said that's why they destroy all of the Black communities, but the one way or the other, through drugs, through through lack of funding, because now we're dealing with school funding and
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
yeah, like you said, if the community is behind you, and I think
yeah.
about that, when I'm thinking about if the community is behind you, they're gonna be for you, right? But think about this. A lot of people set their businesses in our communities, and we cannot do business with them.
At all.
Yeah,
And they're walking out of our communities
with a
with
bag of
the
money.
bag, and they have no pressure to reinvest. You
Not at
know, the
all.
average corner, every hood got an Arab corner store. That just call
Yep.
it what it is. You know, the average hood corner store makes between $350 and $500,000 a year, easy profit.
I'm in the wrong profession.
That's on the average. Yet
Yeah.
we're not educating our children to run a store.
Nah. We and then not when they run to the store, the chips are $5 instead of $2.
Because they put the markup on them. And they
Yeah.
ain't got the candy in the candy jars no more. Now they got the cigarillos and all this other stuff up front, right? But if you had the store and you culturally understood what was going on in our community, you would make that stuff easy to get. You
Yeah.
could bring a culture in your store that can help turn around the culture in the community. But that's another conversation. We've done that before.
Yeah, we did.
This
We
ain't
did.
new. These aren't new ideas. We've done it before, and we still want these things. But
Yeah.
when you believe that you're powerless, you just start
Oh,
coping and dealing with what's in front of you.
I remember in my my mother, she's from Arkansas, and there was and it was basically a self-sustaining black community. There was a guy named Mr. Button, and he had a store. And when
Mhm.
they went and got things from them.
Yeah.
But the Meta Nature, he's saying the reason why people are not going to store ownership is not glamorous enough.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what? And that I translate that to say that it's not non-black enough. It don't take you out of the N-word enough. It don't take you out of you understand what I'm saying? It's our mentality, or the mentality that's been put on us is the get out mentality. I
Yeah.
remember growing up, because I was good in school, my teachers would celebrate me, and they would always say things like, man, you gonna get out. You gonna get out the hood. You keep going because you can get out. So my neighborhood wasn't something to invest in. My neighborhood was something to get out of. Now my neighborhood is still there. Stop 6 is still there,
Yeah.
and it still makes money, but not for us.
Yeah.
It's still there. A proud, like a brother said earlier, all the black communities were destroyed. Black
Yeah.
communities weren't destroyed. Black communities were abandoned.
Uh, that's and it's the same thing off MLK. For those who are familiar with Dallas, the DFW area, Dallas, there's MLK, go straight to the Cotton Bowl. It looked like like a bomb hit it.
Yeah.
The building's still there, but they are boarded up
Mhm.
and all that. And my apologies, Meta Nature. I'm sorry. But yeah, she said she. I'm sorry. But yeah, a lot of the places are boarded up now. Like I
Like
said,
when we talk
they're
about
not
Black Wall
destroyed, they're
Street.
abandoned.
Yeah. Like when we talk about Black Wall Street, people usually talk about Black, they say, well, they bombed Black Wall Street. That wasn't the end of the story. They rebuilt Black Wall Street after the bombing.
Right.
And it became a thriving Black community in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Integration killed Black Wall Street.
Wow.
Black Wall Street was abandoned by that generation. Then they built a freeway through Black Wall Street, like they
Yeah,
do
so
in a
nobody
lot
was
of
there to.
major black communities. But the bomb didn't destroy Black Wall Street.
It was aftermath.
Redlining and integration and the illusion of inclusion destroyed Black Wall Street.
Wow. And then Braba, he said, however, the SBA loans aren't easy to get to open businesses.
No,
Talking
SBA loans are not easy to get. That's
Mhm.
another reason why I miss our communities. Because sometimes you can just go to Mr. B and get that loan.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gave out our own SBA loans.
Yeah.
Right. And other communities still do. And Asian people come over here, they're not going to the Small Business Administration to get all of their funding. They're circulating their dollars amongst each other too, and getting
Yeah.
loans from each other as well. We have people who do susus, where they're putting their money in, and every year or once a year or once or 2 years, someone gets the pot and invested into a business, right?
Yeah.
Again, our biggest obstacle is that we don't want to be a we.
Wait a minute. So the biggest problem is we don't want to be a what?
We don't want to be a we.
Wow.
When I talk to black people and they say we and us, is usually talking about something bad that we do.
Gotcha.
We need to stop killing each other. I ain't killed nobody today.
Right. I didn't choose violence today.
But that's our fault. We are we when it started to shaming. But then when somebody black do great, we say they specific name. Look at Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's doing great. But we don't say we are astrophysicists now.
Yeah.
We don't say that.
It's that person.
Right. And then when it's time to invest in the black community, we dang sure ain't a weed in. My views be way up here. When I'm criticizing black folks, my views and likes be way up here. When I start talking about building that school,
and then it goes from we to I ain't got it.
I ain't got it. But you got it for Netflix.
Oh,
you got it for Amazon.
Yeah.
We don't mind that Zuckerberg gets to sit back and collect our data and become a multi-billionaire as we talk on Facebook.
Yeah.
Everybody boycotting Target. Facebook ended their DEI before Target did.
Everybody ready for that conversation.
Shoot now, because who's going to protest the crack dealer? Not the crackheads.
Wait a minute. Yeah. And so
we used to try to shut down the dope house. Wasn't no dope fiend with us when we wanted to shut the dope house down. Our dope fiend was pro dope house.
Matter of fact, they'd be lying.
Like, y'all better get on.
You got a real fight then.
Yeah. Y'all better get on somewhere. Ain't nobody said nothing about Zuckerberg.
Man.
Everybody said nothing. Why? Because he got the dope. Ain't nobody going after the dope, man.
Woo, they gonna come out in droves.
Yeah. Shoot, ain't nobody said. Al ain't say nothing about the dope, man, did he? Where am I out there? We can go get Target. Okay, don't nobody really go to Target that much, no way.
Yeah, they price too high. You know,
right. We call it Target. You know, we don't mess with Target like that.
Yeah.
Right? But but they ain't go after the dope man though.
Man. And so the thing is, now the folk going in.
I'm just saying, we pick and choose, though. We pick and choose our battles. And we pick and choose when we want to be a we.
We want to fight, but we don't want to fight. You know.
Yeah.
We want to jab, but we don't want to go in.
No. I had a brother come on my post one time. We just got to figure out a way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Where it don't really disrupt nothing. I'm like, bro, it ain't no fight without sacrifice.
You got to do something.
You got to sacrifice something. There is no such thing as a fight without you sacrificing. If you're going to hit, you got to be ready to get hit. That's just what it is.
Yeah. But the thing is, we want that we goes into that person over there. He's the one. He gonna be. It's we're looking for that one person yet again.
Mm-hmm.
That one, that Martin Luther King, that Angela Davis, that Huey Newton. That them. They're gonna do it instead of
stand back and watch.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of us want to watch. I know when we built the Uhuru Academy, man, had a whole bunch of spectators that wasn't supporters.
Wow.
Had a whole lot of people looking as we were developing our school. We didn't have no money. We didn't have no funding. This was out of our pockets and donations and doing what we got to do. My side hustles and everything, getting everything going. But it was a huge sacrifice for me, a huge sacrifice for my family, and people will watch you struggle, especially when they're afraid. There were educators that was scared to stand next to me in 2010 that are calling me, asking me for consultation in 2025.
Oh, you're a consultant now.
Yeah, I'm a consultant now.
Yeah.
But back then, I was a crazy N-word thinking he could start a school. Them folks ain't gonna let him start no school.
Yeah. Now they're trying to figure out how to reach them children.
Now they're trying to figure out how to reach them. Well, we did a deep dive. We've been inside the community, literally in the hood, building techniques on how to reach them.
Yeah. And they having TED Talks about how to have classroom management where you're doing that.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like I'm an expert at what I do, and it's being acknowledged now. And you never do it for that. That's not why we were doing it, right? But on this path, man, just noticing, when our people, especially our professionals, are uncomfortable and not sure whether or not they can step into a space, man, they'll freeze.
No, yeah.
They'll freeze. So you asked, going back to the original question, are we still second-class citizens? Absolutely. Because here you have an institution like the Uhuru Academy in the middle of the hood teaching culture in a way that impacts our students in a positive way. Yet you can't go into your classroom and do the same thing. Well, until Sean Gales did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to Mr. Gales. He's over there at Captain Johnson Academy.
Yes.
And I met him because I teach at the Soto ISD also. And to watch him teach young people, it's good to have strong men, men teaching our youth. Me, I got the high schoolers, so
right.
Yeah, I got the big kids, but he's
man, you in there.
Yeah, he's teaching science and social studies, and he's really breaking it down. But I'm really
look at
thankful.
him statistically, man. His first 2 years in the classroom, he came in and he basically went and brought the Uhuru Academy approach into his classroom.
He did.
He smashed the achievement gap.
Yeah, and them kids are they're a lot of good ones came out of that out of that school, and he taught them.
Now they went from 2% mastery to over 23% mastery.
Yeah,
they went from 36% meeting to 92% meeting.
Yeah, because the reason why for those who don't know and don't understand, the reason why these Black children are able to excel like that is because they learned about themselves first. They learned about their culture. They learned that they're the ones that they invented this thing called math and science, and now they're doing the math and the science. Right. And so that's what we got to get to. We got to have more teachers like that. But before we get into the Uhuru Academy, really quick, Baba says too many Black businesses are destroyed by our own people due to self-hatred, crab in the barrel theory.
Again, y'all, it goes back, and I try not to get into what I call toxic shaming of Black people, right? We are beautiful people.
Yeah.
And there are Black people who do beautiful things every day. There are successful Black businesses out here being supported by Black people. I have a Black-owned business that would not be here without the Black community. You understand what I'm saying? So I have to acknowledge that so we don't put us all in one big bucket. But there is, like when they talk about boycott, I always come back and say, let's end the Black boycott on Black-owned businesses. But not just in our lack of supporting them, our lack of going into business. My whole generation was pretty much raised to grow up, get your degree, and go get a good job. And move out. No one promoted entrepreneurship to us on a mass scale. And it's still not being promoted on a mass scale. So how can we support something that we're not even going into? I was thinking this morning when I first started my school, right? And I left my job and I started my school. This became my job. And I'm working it. I ain't got no money at first. I got to go recruit the students and convince the parents. I'm talking about from scratch. And I remember sitting down one day with a friend of mine, and she was like, and I say friend, really somebody in my family, but I don't want to call nobody out. But they was like, you so lucky you don't have to work.
Wow. But you still working.
I put in 18 hours yesterday.
You working right now.
Right. But in their mind, if you didn't have a job, you don't work.
You're not clocking in. You're not punching in.
You don't work. We because we were not educated though to understand the effort that it takes. I had people tell me, man, you stupid for going into business. Don't go into business for yourself. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You smart. Go get a job.
You smart. As you said, you smart. So don't go into business for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
and so no. And then when it becomes an act of equality to shop at white-owned businesses, we think we're making progress by shopping at Neiman Marcus. We think that means racism is ending because we went to Macy's. So they done put an economic Jedi mind trick on us to where we look at spending our dollars outside of our community as a racial reconciliation.
And then to and so So, Brother Mo says, as a police officer for a large city in DFW, you see the disparities and us cannot support us. We always complaining and pulling each other down when it's time to support and get us in position. And yeah, a lot of
It
people are
happens.
agreeing.
He a black police officer. He probably see it inside the police station too.
Mm, yeah,
Because I know some black police officers, and they have to deal with it. They have to
yeah,
deal with suppression inside the police office, inside the police force. If not, you wouldn't need a black police association. They just be
yeah.
all be a part of regular police association.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. Why they gotta have a black police association?
Yeah,
Ain't we
because
all?
they're experiencing it too. And not only
Yeah,
are they not getting it from their white counterparts, they get it from their black counterparts too.
yeah.
There's some black police in there that wouldn't dare sit by Mo in the cafeteria. As
Wow.
Mo.
Yeah.
I know. Because the condition that we in, it transcends class.
Wow.
When you have a negative definition of who you are, when you think your history began in slavery, that's how you're going to act. You're going to always act like you're trying to not be seen as a slave.
Yeah. And
You're
so
going
you'll
to
do
always,
everything.
that's it. So those who are in poverty, somebody look like he about to go do something to get away from, man, you can't go. If you do something better, what does that say about me?
Me, I'm not doing enough.
Right?
Yeah.
If you go to college and I'm still on the block, what does that say about? No, man, you making me look in the mirror.
Yeah.
No, oh man, I thought you was hard, bro. I thought you was down, my nigga.
You sell out.
Nigga selling out, man. Oh man, he's selling out, right?
You see that with how you see that with students, some of our black students that make A's and B's that are trying to excel. They said, "Now you acting, you sounding white, you talking white, you
yeah, they get that pressure.
Yeah,
they get that pressure, and it's because there isn't a solid definition of who we are that's already there.
Yeah.
Like we say things like you're gonna be somebody one day. You don't say that at the Uhuru Academy. You was born.
What'd you say?
We say you was born somebody.
That's it.
You've been somebody for 1,000,000 years.
Yeah.
Your somebodyness goes back to the birth of humanity. What you mean? Wow. You the first somebody. When nobody until you was somebody.
Yeah.
We let our children know we were everywhere before anybody else was anywhere.
Yeah. And the thing is, when they come in with that, mentality, I am somebody. You don't have to, can't nobody tell me nothing.
You can't tell me nothing. Yeah. So excellence don't become white. Excellence comes from us. What do you mean?
Yeah. Right? I made this. Here it is.
What you mean? Right?
Yeah.
There is no math without us. Of course you can do math. Your ancestors created math.
We taught it to you.
Humans, had they not created math, no humans would be here.
Yeah.
Right? And we have to be emphatic. And it's not even so much a racial thing as it is a human thing. Look, you're going to learn about the Greek walk with science and math. Well, let's learn about the African walk with science and math. It just so happens to be a longer walk than everybody else.
And then when students realize that Pythagoras, he didn't invent the Pythagorean theorem, and it was Africans that did it.
It's a Kemetic theorem.
Yeah.
So we don't ever call it the Pythagorean theorem.
Okay, what do you call it?
We call it the Kemetic theorem. That's what it is.
Theorem. Yeah.
We don't call it that. And it ain't got nothing to do with not liking nobody. It's just giving credit where credit is due.
Because they want that credit.
Yeah. So when people ask me, well, what about white folks? What we give to white folks, what belong to white folks? Sir Isaac Newton, of course, Africans knew that what came up come down, but that's okay. Y'all can have that, you know. But our children need to understand that we're not guests at civilization's table. We built the table.
Yeah.
And we have just as much right to be at the table as anybody else. Our babies ought to get out here and deal with folks from all over the world, from different backgrounds. We want them approaching with confidence. You at an instant disadvantage if you think that you're doing something just because you in the room.
Wow.
Now, why you in the room? Focus on why you in the room and quit getting caught up. Ooh, look, black folks don't get to come in here.
No,
they don't invite black people to this event. Get over that and just take care of your business at the event.
Yeah, I'm the only black person here.
Then that's how they're gonna get
Dude,
over on you, because they know you so happy to be there, they can pay you less.
Mm.
They can put things in your contract that you're not gonna read.
Yeah.
Right? They can have you followed around, because they be putting PIs on these school administrators and black. Ask black superintendents if they don't get followed around.
Look, they bugging us to death.
Hey, but they get all this happens because they so happy to be in the room, they not paying attention to the room.
Yeah. And on top of that, to the point to where some of our students, even Sister Metanetra, said she was taught to hate mathematics.
Right. And you are mad.
Wow.
Your name is math.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the writings of the gods. Your name is mathematical in its essence, in its creation, because all original spiritual systems were based on math and science.
Yeah.
All of it. Ma'at. Ma'at. The word math is derivative of a black goddess named Ma'at. M-A-A-T. M-A-T-H. That is not a coincidence.
Wow.
And Ma'at was about order. It's not math about order.
Yeah.
Balance. Don't we try to balance both sides of the equal sign in math? Harmony, reciprocity. All of these are mathematical principles. So you teach math that way and let people know everything you do. Take the numbers off the page. Everything we do in life is about balance.
It is. It is.
You know, and so like we teach our children when dealing with behavior, you're not good or bad. You're either balanced or imbalanced. That's it.
Yeah. It's fair.
Is your behavior balanced today?
Yeah.
Got to balance that out.
Yeah. And that's sometimes even in our community, sometimes we lack that balance.
I say,
you know, we lack that. We're too extreme on one side. You know, we always work, and not have fun. Or we always partying and having fun, but we don't want to go to work. You know, be it our own business or otherwise.
That's where the church played a pivotal role. We used to play more of a pivotal role in the mosque and in our spiritual systems, because the goal of any spiritual system is to help you achieve balance in your life. Yes, you're supposed to have anger. It just needs to be in the proper place.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have an ego, but it needs to be in the proper place.
Right.
Happiness, joy needs to be in the proper place. It's about achieving balance in your life. I teach my students in my math class, you know what I'm saying? You have to balance situations.
Yeah.
Right? What will make this situation balanced? Right? And so that's math. Everything you do is mathematical. Metu, you probably a cold mathematician. You just talking about writing numbers on paper. But I bet you could I bet you make a mean tea. You know exactly what to put inside of it.
Yeah. Right. I was telling my students, I said, how many of y'all like chemistry? Nobody like chemistry. But now I turn around and say, how many of y'all do hair? Hands start going up. I said, y'all know chemistry.
Yes.
Y'all know chemistry. Put too much permanent hair.
What's gonna happen? Gonna be plucked.
Yeah.
Burn, right?
Yeah.
So master chemist. And that's why culture is important, because you have to be able to show people where they already apply what you're teaching them.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff you learn in school, you already do. But if your culture is not in the curriculum, you won't be able to recognize it.
Nah.
If the example is Biff and Bonnie going skiing, then you can't identify with that culturally.
Yeah.
You can't find the math in that. But you can find in math and how much seasoning do you put on the greens.
Yeah. And for some reason, Granny can balance it just right.
Without a measuring cup.
Shoot,
how much go in there, Grandma? A pinch.
What is a pinch?
What is a pinch? You know, what's a pinch? You know, we need to honor the pinch, because that pinch, you just pinch it.
Yeah,
that's a pinch.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'll be in the room when she making that food, put that together, because I want to tell you something.
They know what to do. When I cook, because I cook it, my wife cooks most of the time, but when I cook, I'm in there reading the back of boxes. I'm measuring. Man, my wife would come cook the same meal. She foop, boop, 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 boop. She be looking at me laughing like that's a
Yeah,
trick. I don't know. Are you black? Are you black? I'm like,
right. Come
yeah,
on now.
yeah. But we have a natural harmony with nature as
Hmm.
black people. You know, our rhythm ain't our only gift, right?
Yeah.
Like we're able to move with rhythm, not just in dance, but we can
Hmm.
be rhythmic in science. We can
Yeah.
be rhythmic in computer science and math. We're rhythmic with language. You know what I'm saying? We just have
Yeah.
to find our rhythm in those things.
And once, and because I asked them, I asked my students that are really good at it. I said, how do you figure that out? They said, I just do it. They
Yeah.
just do.
Hmm.
And so that's the part about it. I said, look, y'all have to get to the point to where you have to solve these problems when you're in these math classes, figure out how to solve your own economic problems with this math of money or whatever.
Right.
And I said, if you're in the nursing program, go ahead and get ready to solve these diabetes things that we have in our community.
Uh-huh.
Not just going out to UCLA and God knows where and not
Right.
coming back to us. And so,
Right.
but
Right. And
because
that's why education is important too, because it
yeah,
also aims you. It tells you, you know what I'm saying? It helps you aim your purpose, find your purpose,
mhm,
focus your purpose,
yeah,
right? And so for us to not embrace independent black education while the
mhm,
school district is not allowed to be very specific in what we're doing, it doesn't make sense.
yeah.
We have to embrace independent black education at the
So
same time.
that being said, speaking of independent black education, tell
Mhm.
us about the Uhuru Academy. I've heard
Oh,
about it, but I want to hear you say it. I want to hear you talk about it.
oh man. So the Uhuru Academy, and that's Uhuru, which is Swahili for freedom.
Oh,
It was founded, we founded the Uhuru Academy officially in 2010 in
okay,
Fort Worth, Texas. We was Fort Worth's first fully independent African-centered private school. Um, my wife and I decided to do it because I was basically tired of putting band-aids on bullet wounds.
wow,
And we knew what our children needed as far as education. Somebody had to do it.
yeah,
We were not fundable because we were too ethnic, we was too black, we were unapologetically African centered. So
yeah,
we stepped out on faith and planning and used relationships we had in the community to found the school ourselves. The four pillars of the Uhuru Academy are spirituality,
okay,
freedom, transformation, and knowledge.
wow,
Right, and those are the pillars that we stand on at the Uhuru Academy. When we founded the Uhuru Academy, we were originally in the back of an alternative school that a
okay,
friend of mine, he had an alternative contract in Everman ISD. It's a lot
okay,
of years later, so we can say it now. He very much illegally violated his contract by
right.
allowing me to start my school in the back of his school.
Another
In
school, yeah.
exchange, I taught classes in his school too,
Oh, okay.
right? And we would have our students come in the back door. His students came in the front door. So we even
Mm.
had to do some Jim Crow at the beginning of the Uhuru Academy.
Yeah.
We moved from there to his church. He was also a pastor. And
Hmm.
the church was working out, but the only thing is the members in the church wasn't crazy about it. So I had to set the whole school up in the morning and break the whole school down in the afternoon when I left to look
Wow.
as if we were never there,
Yeah.
right? We didn't have the money for a facility. The first facility we got was donated to us by the Bloods in Stop Six.
Wow. So a gang actually fronted the money for your institution.
They gave me the whole house. They gave me a house.
Wow.
It was a house in Stop Six where actually the Blood gang was found. That the first Bloods in Stop Six took Bloods over in that house,
Wow.
and they sold drugs out of that house for
Hmm.
years. We converted that house into a schoolhouse.
Oh, turn something negative into positive.
We turned something negative into positive, something
Yeah.
positive. We partnered with the community center that was across the street. I
Mm.
signed all my students up on a community membership. And
Yeah.
we go in and use their library, use their gym, use their computer room during the day, use their cafeteria as if it was our school, an extension of our school. So
Yeah.
we were a true community-based school
Yeah.
from the jump. We charged a very low tuition in those early days, like
Mm.
$250 a month. Don't ask me
Right.
what I was thinking, man. But I cut the cable off, They had a cash car, downsized my home. We did what we had to do to make this thing happen, because what was more important at that time for us was
Right.
quality over quantity. We wanted to make sure that the strategies that we were implementing were working, right? And so it was a true experiment, community experiment. We went from that house because we outgrew the house that the Bloods gave us, and we took it to my house. Then we took it
Okay.
to another friend's house, then we used another church for 2 years, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so the campus often moved around, right?
Yeah.
Because we still weren't bringing in the revenue that it
Yeah.
took to put solid roots into the ground, right? We eventually went virtual in 2016. We
Okay.
had a hybrid situation going on. Had some people come to class, some online.
Gotcha.
We went fully virtual in 2017 when we moved to Houston and started working with Jay Prince and his daughter Ashley Prince. We converted one of his gyms into a school.
That's interesting.
Yes. And we began working with other people across the country with our model. In 2014, I trained a family, the Washington family in Columbia, South Carolina, and they founded the Uhuru Academy, South Carolina.
Wow.
Right, which is where we are right now. Because in 2018, they bought a 4-acre plot of land and offered us some land if we would relocate out here to help them further develop their school. So I've been out here since 2019.
I didn't know that. I thought you were
Yes,
still in
sir.
Florida.
Man, it's been a movie. Okay, it's been a movie. All right,
Yeah.
but the creator and the ancestors have been with us the whole time. The Black community has been supportive the whole time. The economic part wasn't always there. It's better now. But
Yeah.
the people part has always been there. Now,
Oh,
inside the school with our program, we place a special emphasis on vision development. Why
gotcha.
are you in school? What's your purpose?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Then how do you become that?
Yeah.
We place a special emphasis on planning as opposed to just dreaming.
Yeah.
So my 3rd and 4th graders and 5th graders, they can tell you what they want to be, but they're going to tell you how they're going to do it. So I want to be a pilot. I'm going to go to flight school and such and such. That's going to cost this much. And after such years, I'll be able to do it. So now come to school every day as a pilot. You come to school every day as a doctor.
As a pilot. Yeah.
As whatever it is you're saying. And guess what? You have a right to change it anytime you want to. So we've had people to go from pilot to doctor, from doctor to computer science, from computer science to lawyer. Like we've had that, right? That's fine. Our goal is for them to learn what it takes to become these things and to see themselves doing it.
See themselves as doing that.
Right. Yeah. We also place a special emphasis on science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and math. Right. These are the foundations of human civilization. Right. But also because math teaches you how to think logically and break things down step by step. Science teaches you how to observe the environment around you and come to logical conclusions, right? So that's what we need to do in life, period, right? We also place a special emphasis on life skills and decision making. And of course, with African Center, we integrate Black history into everything that we do.
Yeah.
Everything. Our students get massive doses of African history. And I'm not talking about the first Black person to work at IBM or the first Negro to do this. No. I'm talking when you ask an Uhuru Academy student, when does Black history begin? They say when all history began.
Wow. When Black history begins, all history begins.
When all history began.
Wow.
Yeah, Black history don't start in slavery. You ask my children, when does Black history begin? They're all saying in unison, when all history began.
Man.
That's the attitude. That's how we walking around here.
Yeah.
Right. And so, when you ask them, why do we study history? They're all saying unison. If you don't know what was, then you don't know what is. And if you don't know what is, you're not prepared for what's to come. So wise people study history.
Yeah.
And I've never met a Black child in my 30 years of working with young people that don't love Black history, especially when it's taught with confidence.
Yeah. If you know what you're talking about, they're gonna gravitate towards it.
And you teach it in a way to make them feel good about themselves. Some people might say, hey, you should just teach history objectively. Well, I got a class for that. When I teach Black history, though, I'm not being objective. I'm teaching Black history to bring pride out of my students. to build confidence in my students because it's something that's lacking. Now, if they were coming from a balanced situation, then we can just talk about the Mali Empire and its impact and
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah.
Not coming from a balanced thing. This is the first time, when I teach Black history, all grades are together. You don't have to go first grade, second grade history. You have to do that because guess what? Ain't nobody learning it.
Right.
The teachers, my parents be sneaking in like, can I jump on doing Black history? Yeah, jump on. Right. And so we do that. We place a special emphasis on skill building. You know, what do you know how to do? Learn how to code. Learn how to build. Learn how to type. All my students take keyboarding, right? My online students, right? Be engaged in a project around your house. Find a trade. I think all young people should have a trade.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. To graduate, because we go K through 12. But to graduate from, I graduate. Man, look, if we're gonna be, are we free or are we free? The original question was, are we second-class citizens?
Yeah.
When I decided what grade I was going to go to, a lot of people say, just go K through 8. They didn't go to high school. I said, no. We're gonna go K through 12. Even if I can't take but 5 students at a time, we're going K through 12. Wow. Well, okay. Well, is the state gonna let you graduate them? The state? Well, you're a private school.
Yeah.
Where your diploma gonna come from? My printer.
Right. They print them.
Yeah. I say they're not putting magic fairy dust on them diplomas. That's just paper and ink.
Right.
That's all it is.
And we have to believe in that paper just like they believe in their paper.
What makes your diploma real? They would ask, what makes your diploma real? We do.
Yeah. Exactly.
We stand behind it. Any college that calls me, any Army recruiter, whatever they calls me and asks me about our diploma, I stand on it. And I'm undefeated.
Yeah.
We stand on it. Yep. If we're going to be first-class citizens.
Stand behind your work.
Stand behind your work. Right? Yeah. And so we graduate our children. But in order to graduate with us, it's not just about your grades. Oh. You have to present a life plan to us.
You're creating something.
Yeah. What you gonna do? Before I put this diploma on you, what you about to do?
Yeah.
Your life plan, you have to tell me what your plan is for yourself spiritually. How you gonna hold up? How you gonna keep your mental together? Physically, what you gonna eat? You gonna exercise? How you gonna take care of yourself? They got to put a plan together for their education. Where are you going to school? Why are you going there? How are you gonna pay for it? I want to know the how, not the what. The how. And your professional plan. Not the what, the how. Right. How long is it going to take? And it has to be detailed. Then they have to present that presentation to the school staff and to their parents and whoever they invite to their life plan presentation.
Because it's holding them accountable.
It's holding them accountable. And now you're bringing the community in. And their support system in. Yeah. So now they present this plan. We say yay or nay.
Oh. So
we approved the plan. You've been approved for graduation. But now you're graduating with what? A plan. They say 50% of all Black students who go to college come back home the first semester, at the end of the first semester.
Facts.
Why? They don't know why they're there.
Nope.
Most of us go to college because we got accepted to the college. That's not a plan, though.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go to college.
And then they change degree plans 1,000 times.
Right. So we have quite a few of our graduates don't go to college. They discover other pathways.
Yeah.
Some of them say, I'm about to go on cybrary.com and get certified in C++ and get certified in coding and go into the industry. I'm doing a mentorship over here. Boop, 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 boop. We have others that say, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm looking to raise $5,000 so I can get started, but we teach our students about entrepreneurial scholarships too.
Wow. Going into business for yourself.
Going into business for yourself, right? And then we have those that'll go to trade school. And we don't, to us, trade school ain't something you go to because you can't get into UT.
Yeah. It's like sometimes we use trade school as a default.
Right. We think, and we just offer that to the students that are having issues. No, your straight A student might be a great diesel mechanic.
Right. Yeah.
Might be a great electrician, a great carpenter. These people make good money.
I remember there was a gentleman who came and fixed my parents' house, like back in the early 90s. he was an older guy. He was a carpenter, and
Mm-hmm.
he custom made my mom's kitchen, right? And he used to come. He did a lot of people's houses in our neighborhood, community networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but he used to come. He used to play basketball with me. He was an older guy, and and years later, I did not know. My mom, she finally told me this. She said that he wanted to teach you how to be a carpenter.
Right.
I'm like, I should have known that. I would have kept my money for this fence.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so these are professions that's been devalued in our community, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of these young brothers on the block, they didn't make it in school because they really need to be working with their hands.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't make it in school because they're really entrepreneurs at heart.
Yeah. And there's no
Right?
outlet.
There's no
for
outlet.
Yeah.
There's nobody grabbing them, say, hold up, man, you ever thought about electrical work? Hey, man, you ever thought about being a plumber? Hey, man, come on over and, and so we have to advertise and bring these opportunities back into our community, back into the thing, and stop treating these jobs or these careers or these businesses like that's something that poor people do, because plumbers ain't poor.
No, not at all. Not at
all. Not the ones I done needed. That's money they charge me.
That's by them showing up.
Yeah, you know. And shout out to Mr. Gales. We built the pipeline. Thanks to Mr. Gales, we built a direct pipeline from the Uhuru Academy to Philander Smith University.
All right.
Our students do a lot of teaching. Our students do a lot of presenting, right? And what I realized was, man, we're developing teachers.
Yeah.
And so we are developing teachers and sending them, to places like Philander Smith University, who are accepting our students into the education department. We're also in partnership with Morgan State University in Baltimore. We do a UACI, we do a STEM camp, and shout out to Conscious Ingenuity and Dr. Oya Mayat. We've been partnering. This is my shirt. I got my UACI shirt on.
Okay,
We've been in partnership with them for the past 3 years, where we do an online STEM camp, where we teach our students the African history of STEM. And then we teach them coding skills, AI skills, all that of the modern day skills in STEM. So we're the first program to combine the past with the future.
Wow.
Right? UACI STEM Camp. You can go to UACISTEMcamp.com, because we have a summer camp coming up. But it's been fully sponsored. It was fully sponsored last year by the Cybersecurity Assurance and Policy Center. We call it the CAP Center at Morgan State University, and Dr. Kevin Carnegie, right? We did a study with the camp, and the data proved that when students see themselves in the curriculum, it increased their interest in going into STEM fields.
Right. And this is, I told my students, I said, look, the reason why you guys enjoy DC and Marvel comics is not just the action. There was some science behind that. There was some science. These people were strong, but they were scientists. There was mathematicians. The Black Panther, I love the Black Panther, but he was a scientist too.
The scientist first.
Physics. It was, all of
and that's his predominant power.
Yeah.
Because what's the use of having vibranium if you don't know what to do with it?
Exactly.
And how to treat it.
Yeah.
Right. And we tell students all the time, what's the use in having all that natural talent if you can't harness it?
Yeah.
And aim it and use it, for the benefit of yourself and those that are connected to you. Right. And we have to be careful, because one of the side effects of being a second class citizen is that people will exploit your talent to benefit them. And not the people who you're connected with.
Exactly. Like when like a lot of my students say, I'm going to the other schools. I'm going to UT. I'm going to say, so you can. They'll say they go to UT. They go to Baylor. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reason why they're telling me is the problem. They'll say, we're going to those schools because of diversity. I said, here's the thing: when you get to their schools, you will be sent to the Black Student Union over there. I asked them, are you a football player? No. Do you run fast? No. Yeah, you're going to be over the back corner of that school over there.
And those schools are not diverse.
Nope. Not at all.
You're talking about maybe a 9% Asian population, 0.2% Black population.
Yeah. But that's what they tell me. That's what they say.
82.3% white. And you think you're going somewhere because it's diversity. And
And
I
then,
would tell parents would tell me all the time, we will send them to your school, but in public school they get around all kinds of people. And I would tell parents, I say, well, respectfully, we already know how to be around all kinds of people. You don't know how to be around each other.
That's the part, because we talked about them and they.
We can't wait to get around other people.
Yeah.
we have an issue with us.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what I would say. And appreciate it, Mr. Gales. We also have an adult education program called Operation Reconnect that we've been doing since 2011. When I started graduating, people, I started realizing that a lot of my students had big brothers and uncles and mamas and daddies that didn't graduate from high school.
Wow.
Right. And you talking about adults who are working a job, raising children and doing a good job. They just don't have a high school diploma. So we created an accelerated high school diploma program called Operation Reconnect, where we gave them the opportunity to study and pass an academic test. But most importantly, put a plan together. What you going to do? How you going to elevate now that you got this high school diploma? We put some financial literacy classes in there, whole 9 yards. And we've been doing Operation Reconnect and graduating adults since 2011. And
so not just children.
No, not just children.
You got adults.
Yeah, we graduate adults as well.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, we honored who was it? It was Jay Prince's grandmother, I believe. She was 94 years old. And we honored her with she had never got a high school diploma. We honored her with one.
Wow.
And you should see the look and the feeling of accomplishment on people's faces when they finally get that. And the only question again, you asked, are we second-class citizens? Yes. And this is an example of how we become one, how we act like one, because you think with all of our education, we would be certifying our own people. Why are we waiting on them?
Yeah.
If you are a master and a PhD, then you can graduate somebody.
Yeah, make masters. Masters should make masters.
Masters should make masters.
Man.
What's stopping us?
Yeah. Because if the education system is thorough, my students should turn around and teach a class. It's not just a day and opportunity for the administration to look and say, hey, they flipped the classroom. No, we should be at that level and at that point to where our students are able to teach other students.
That's it. Each one teach one, right? And so when we talk about education freedom at the Uhuru Academy, that's what we talk about. So people say, are you accredited? And I say, well, we will, because we're forming our own accreditation agency. There's not an accreditation agency out here that's qualified to accredit me, right? But if accreditation is something you pay for, that people come in and say, yeah, they're doing what they say do. So you can ask my parents. You can look at my students. Huh?
You gotta pay for it?
The government doesn't accredit private high schools and elementary schools. You go to accreditation agencies. Me and you can start an accreditation agency.
Wow. I didn't know that. That.
Yeah. You pay them. They come in, do a report. They do what they say do. And you can put their logo on your website and say you're accredited. That's all it is. It's nothing else.
Wow.
That's all it is.
Wow.
So when we talk about education freedom, one of my least favorite phrases is when somebody tells a young person, you either graduate from high school or you're going to end up dead or in jail.
Yes. Yeah.
That's such an indictment on our community and on us as men that we can't, and women, that we can't create anything for our children outside of the high school system.
Yeah.
So if that don't work, he's going to be dead or in jail. What does that say about us? Because when little Timmy dropped out, his uncle gonna hire him at his construction company.
Yeah.
When little Jose don't go to work no more, he at the tire shop though.
Exactly.
So you telling me when our children drop out of school dead,
they can't do nothing.
Jail, we need to create more opportunities for our children, and that's the motivation behind the Uhuru Academy as well.
Yeah, man. It's just about we got it. Before we let you go, I just want to, I'm just trying to figure out, does the fam have any questions? For those who don't know, you listen to King Cam Ujumbe Podcast, and we ask the question Are Black people still treated second-class citizens? But we also answered it, how to assert ourselves in that authority. But before we turn you guys loose, I really appreciate you guys for listening. Shout out to everybody for listening. But do you have anybody have any questions for Baba Amin before we go? Because
Having a good time.
yeah, man. We're gonna have to bring you back. And Mr. Gales need to come through. Yeah.
Thank you, Mo.
Yeah, Brother Mo. It's been a blessing to listen to you speak today, Brother Bob. I really appreciate you guys.
And you hang in there, man, and make sure you're delivering justice to our people, man. Because I know y'all got to find your own Black rhythm in law enforcement. You got to. I know how it go. We got to find our rhythm wherever we go, man.
Yeah.
Be safe out there, Mo.
Yeah. All right, brother. Shout out to Brother Elliot Grant. He said, "Good talk."
Peace.
He invited me to the book club. You need to give me another date for the next book club because we got brothers book club. We got I missed the last meeting. But shout out to Brother Elliot. But I really appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you, Bob Amin, for coming through. And you listen to King Cam Ujumbe Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and do all the things. And we will talk to you later. All right.
Peace.